Well, the 800-pound gorilla is still seated in the room and does not seem to be going anywhere. Google employees, and everyone else for that matter, have been put on some version of notice that layoffs are looming. But not much detail is forthcoming from management. Google CEO Sundar Pichai has made some information public. But it is vague. Google has been under pressure for about a year now. Google stock is down 30% in the past year. The United States economy is teetering on the brink of recession. And corporate ad spending is plummeting. Google is more at risk than most people think. And because of that, practically everyone is now waiting for the other shoe to drop regarding layoffs. We cover this topic closely on this channel. That is because this is the subject of the most widely viewed videos on this channel. This video continues our coverage of the wave of layoffs sweeping the United States. What does it mean for big tech companies? What does it mean for the economy? And what does it mean for the future of the United States? But before we get into all of that, please press the like button and leave us a comment below. We would love to hear from you. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you are notified of upcoming videos when they are released. Announcing layoffs to the entire company is not a scalable way to do it, said Google CEO Sundar Pichai. So, what does that really mean? Well, it probably means that layoffs are definitely coming. It also means that, when layoffs do come, they will be kept as secret as possible. Some Wall Street analysts are calling this the stealth layoff plan. The company will try and notify the company of the more important updates, Pichai told a live audience of employees in an all-hands meeting. We already know that Google has cut half of the projects in the startup incubator called Area 120. We also know that any employees who are affected by restructuring have 3 months to find a new job inside Google. Why is the company nickel and diming employees when Google has record profits and huge cash reserves? A Google employee asked Pichai in the all-hands meeting. Pichai responded, "Look, I hope all of you are reading the news, externally. We are being more responsible through one of the toughest macroeconomic conditions underway in the past decade. I think it's important that as a company, we pull together to get through moments like this," said Pichai. "We don't get to choose the macroeconomic conditions always," Pichai added. Restrictions on employee travel is among the new budget cuts at Google. Come to think of it, even the term, budget cuts, is new to the Google lexicon. But the new travel restrictions are not being well received by Google employees. Google has ordered employees to return to the office 3 days per week. And full return to office 5 days per week is coming soon. I do understand some of the travel restrictions at a time like this, an RTO, and people wanting to see each other, definitely is not ideal, Pichai said. If you haven't seen your team in a while and it'll help your work by getting together in person, I think you can do that. I think that's why we are not saying no to travel, we are giving discretion to teams. Sales teams will have more leeway to travel due to the nature of their responsibilities, said Google Finance Vice President Kristen Reinke. We know there's a lot of value in being next to your team, but we're just asking simply to be thoughtful and limit your travel and expenses where you can, Reinke said. Where you have summits and big meetings, please try to do them in the office, Reinke added. We definitely want people to still have fun. But we're just asking them to keep holiday parties small, keep them informal, try not to go over the top, Reinke also noted. Google will continue to pay top talent at the top end of the market so we can be competitive, said Google Vice President Brett Hill. We're committed to taking care of our employees, Pichai added. I think we're just working through a tough moment macroeconomically, and I think it's important we as a company align and work together, Pichai also noted. Pichai has reiterated that the company is actually still hiring for critical positions. This includes engineering and other critical technical positions. So, why the vagueness? And what is really going on at Google? First, it is obvious that the United States is teetering on the brink of recession. This means that consumers are pulling back on consumer discretionary spending. Knowing this, corporate marketers are cutting back on ad spending, especially online. Google gets the lion's share of its revenue from online ad spending, especially for consumer discretionary items. And when a company becomes as large as Google is today, it can no longer outperform the overall economy as much as it has in the past. At the same time, more competition for online ad dollars is emerging, especially from TikTok. Meta Platforms is facing the same problem as Google. Namely, there is pressure to grow revenues in a shrinking market in the face of new and stiff competition. So, the ground is shifting under Google very quickly at a time when the company is least prepared. Google CEO Sundar Pichai understands this problem and needs to find a solution. But he really cannot say it this way in public because it will shock critical employees and financial markets. So, he has decided to take a path of stealth layoffs. Recall that Pichai spoke at the Vox Code conference in Los Angeles a couple of weeks ago. In his speech, he said that Google needs to become 20% more productive. Actually, that is just the first milestone. After the 20% target is met, then a new 20% target set. Google needs to shift its revenue base quickly so that it is less reliant on ad spending. At the same time, it needs to hold onto as much online ad revenue as possible. But building a new business to not only pick up the slack of plummeting ad spending and also grow revenue will not be easy. Nevertheless, that is what Google needs to do. And, if you read between the lines and look between the cracks, the areas are coming clearer. First, Google has been growing its cloud revenue and that will have to continue. But it will have to somehow generate a profit earlier than originally expected. Second, artificial intelligence is a natural domain of expansion for Google. But it is really not clear exactly what that means for Google. Then, there is quantum computing. But that is even more unclear as things stand right now. Regardless, and whatever the development plan is, layoffs are coming. And, the adjustment to the new reality is getting off to a rocky start. Google is dealing with the uncomfortable new realities of slowing growth and cost cutting. And there is a lot of employee dissent over the cultural changes associated with this unfamiliar economic terrain. Attendees of the meeting told reporters that Pichai became heated and annoyed during the meeting. Google reported Q2 financial results in July, and it was not pretty. Earnings and revenue missed Wall Street expectations by a lot, and for the second consecutive quarter now. Wall Street analysts now expect annualized sales growth to be in the single digits. The external macroeconomic pressures are definitely a negative force. Many outside observers are saying that Google is basically using this as an excuse to clean house. These austerity measures demonstrate to Wall Street that Google is serious about its stock performance. I do believe that smart companies take opportunities and make unpopular decisions, said former Google executive Kevin Desai. But implementing these unpopular decisions is easier said than done. You cannot just demand that employees work harder and it magically happens. Some Google employees blame executives for reducing productivity by not giving teams clearer focus. But, what do you think? Please leave us a comment below and hit the like button. We would love to hear from you. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you are notified of upcoming videos when they are released. Please share this video on social media. Thank you for watching.